You want to hear about the time a quiet lake turned into a war zone and I, of all people, ended up fighting a homeowners association with nothing but a stack of deeds, some grit, and a lot more sarcasm than sense? Alright, buckle up, because let me tell you, if you think HOAs are just about mailbox paint and lawn heights, you've never seen one try to annex your family's legacy with a smile and a cease and desist letter. It all kicked off the first morning I turned onto the old gravel road, heading down toward my granddad's cabin, tires crunching on stones nobody had bothered with in years. That place, man, it felt like it had just been sitting there waiting, like a dog that never stops listening for your footsteps. The porch sagged, the paint had gone from forest green to some faded mystery shade, but stepping out into that crisp air, lake, cedar, a hint of wood smoke if you breathed deep enough, I just felt, I don't know, right? Like I'd finally come home. Most folks inherit a watch, maybe some money. Me? I got 8.6 acres of woods, a busted dock, and something you only hear about in tall tales, a deed for the lake bed itself. Not just access. The whole bottom of the lake, baby. Granddad, he'd been a surveyor in the 60s, made deals at county auctions, knew where the loopholes were. Owned everything up to the tree line, down to the last weed. Owning a whole lake. Feels like holding the deed to gravity. I hadn't been back since he passed, but city life, work, deadlines, that empty feeling you get when the only green you see is a traffic light, I needed out. I gave myself the summer to bring it all back. Hauled up boxes of tools, solar panels, notebooks, everything I thought I'd need to build, fix, and if I'm being honest, maybe find some peace. For a week, I did. I patched, cleaned, rewired. Drank bourbon at night, listened to the moths hitting the windows. Woke up to mist on the lake and dew on my boots. Took the canoe out at dawn, nothing but birds and my own heartbeat. For a few perfect days, it was mine, quiet, wild, untouched. Then came the people. First, a silver SUV rolled up the drive, poking its nose around like it was entitled to know my business. Then another. 2 minivans pulled in next, doors popping open, kids tumbling out, coolers and chairs scattering like a beach invasion. At first I thought, lost maybe? But no, they strolled right down to my dock like it was public property. Some guy waved as he dragged a kayak across my lawn. Just. Waltzed right on by. Now, I could have gone full Yosemite Sam, but that's not my style. Instead, I ordered some proper aluminum signs, private property, no trespassing, real friendly font, just enough red to be clear. Bolted them up on sturdy posts, left my number on one in case someone had a genuine question. By Friday, 2-3 groups a day, every day. Families with paddleboards and boom boxes, teenagers in wet shoes, one woman setting up a tent 15 feet from my porch. I didn't yell. I documented. License plates, photos, dates. Not angry yet, just prepared. Because documentation beats indignation when the gloves come off. You know what I mean? What I didn't realize, yet, was these weren't just clueless tourists. They were locals. Organized, entitled, and all part of a monster with one big, smug head, the HOA. First sign of trouble? A letter taped to my door, 2 perfectly folded, smelling like a dentist's office. Dear resident, it started, never a good sign, on thick paper with a big red Golden Pines HOA stamp and a signature that probably took 3 hours to practice. Karen Davis, president. It started out all friendly, then turned sideways fast. According to this, my cabin was unauthorized, built on community access lakefront. I had 30 days to vacate and restore the site per Article 12, Section 8 of the Golden Pines HOA Covenant. Let me back up a sec. My day job is literally arguing property lines for a living. I've drafted easements in my sleep. 10 minutes reading that letter, and I realized, this wasn't a mistake, it was a fantasy. I put together a formal response, attached scans of the original deed, title, boundary records, sent it certified to Karen and the county assessor just for laughs. Kept it polite, but let's just say, don't start a war with someone holding the receipts. Didn't take long for a second letter. This one shorter, much nastier. Accused me of falsifying documents and obstructing public access. Threatened legal action, demanded I remove my illegal signs. I didn't even reply. Just added 2 more signs and a laminated parcel map right next to the dock. Escalation? Oh, you better believe it. Next thing I know, I'm up fixing the roof and spot 2 dudes, polos, khakis, the unofficial HOA uniform, stomping around my property with tablets, snapping pictures of my dock, even my trash bins. One's crouched, measuring my porch steps like he's listing it on Airbnb. I walk down, ask if they need help finding the exit. The younger one introduces himself as compliance liaison. The other just films. When they don't leave, I pull out my steel tape measure. Need the width of my boot for your report? That did the trick. That night, I installed motion lights, trail cams, wasn't scared, just tired. Tired of being audited on my own land. Tired of suburban cowboys thinking they could take what wasn't theirs. A friend from town sent me a screenshot from the local community forum. Old hunting shack illegally built on our public shoreline. HOA action pending. A photo of my cabin right there. That wasn't ignorance. That was entitlement. Ugly, loud, and self-righteous. The kind of entitlement that thinks having a committee and a newsletter can change facts. So, I went into overdrive. Dug out the old fireproof chest, checked every document against the county registry. I wanted not just proof, I wanted a hammer. By the time I finished, I had a stack of deeds, titles, surveys, and permits thicker than my granddad's Bible, including a land use permit for the parking lot the HOA had paved as community space. Actually my parcel. The next HOA meeting was pure small-town theater. A church gym, metal chairs, a table with a plastic cloth, microphone cutting out every few words. Karen worked the room like a politician, blonde bob, blazer, smile sharp as a razor. She started right in, protecting community assets, removing unlawful structures. Held up a blown-up photo of my cabin, called it an encroachment. Then came the zinger. We won't let our lake be privatized by squatters with fake paperwork. I stood up, walked to the front, opened my folder, and started laying out documents, deed, title, survey, lot map, like a royal flush. Introduced myself, told them what I owned, the cabin, the dock, the lake bed, even the community parking lot. Certified, current, county registered. If you want copies, I've got plenty. The room went dead silent. Karen's mouth twitched, but she stayed cool. Those documents could be falsified. We'll need to verify. I just nodded. Check with the county. Or your insurance, for that matter. She tried to pivot. The community's been using this for years. That's a de facto claim. I grinned. No, that's called entitlement. I've got receipts. You've got opinions. Some people actually laughed. Karen did not. This isn't over, she hissed. Our attorneys will be in contact. Looking forward to it, I said and walked out. But 3 days later? They threw the annual lake picnic on my land anyway. SUVs parked in my lot, beer dripping on the pine needles, someone dragging a Bluetooth speaker out on my dock, teens cannonballing like it was a public pool. I just pulled out my phone, took photos of every face, every license plate, every empty can. Smile. You're trespassing. That's when they got the message, packed up, left tire tracks and trash in their wake. The next round, Karen and 2 guys in windbreakers rolled in, tried to authorize the removal of my dock. I cut them off. You're not the government, and you don't own anything here. When they wouldn't leave, I pointed out, on my own parcel map, that their cars were parked on my land, too. Karen's face twitched. You're making a mistake. No, I said, you are. And you just keep making it louder. The lawsuit dropped like a brick, delivered by a guy who didn't want to make eye contact. Unlawful occupation, obstruction of access, degradation of recreational resources. My personal favorite. My dock, apparently, was a national treasure now. I called my attorney Lynn, boots, blazer, killer instincts. She took one look, grinned, and said, let's punch back. We filed a countersuit, trespassing, unauthorized use, attempted displacement, and for spice, intentional infliction of emotional distress. If they could claim emotional damage, so could I. Physically, we blocked the parking lot, concrete barriers, no trespassing signs, cameras. Karen came roaring back, called the cops. Deputy Ramirez showed up, read the land records, shrugged. You're good. But brace yourself. She's not done. I'm counting on it, I told him. That's when Lynn went full bloodhound, dug up 15 years of aerial imagery, HOA budgets, newsletters. Turns out, the HOA had been paving my grass, striping it as parking, collecting donations for lake access at a kiosk, holding events, selling wristbands, money flowing in, not a penny to the county or IRS. We filed a complaint with the IRS, then sent the HOA attorney a nice thick packet of supplemental material. Next week, the summer splash was postponed due to legal complications. I couldn't help smiling. Panic was in the water now. But that's when things got ugly. My chain cut, signs ripped off, trash dumped. Trail cam stolen, one burned. Then a couple nights later, someone set fire to my storage bin out back. Flames 3 feet high, nearly caught the trees. I put it out, called the sheriff. Ramirez came out, got a plate off the footage, promised to run it. You want to press charges? Absolutely. Next morning I called Lynn. We escalate, she said. Court, media, law enforcement, all of it. The first hearing, I showed up with the mother of all binders. Karen's lawyer tried the old continuous use argument. Prescriptive easement, blah blah. Lynn let him talk, then dropped the hammer. Deeds, surveys, permits, the whole timeline. The judge wasn't buying the HOA's story. Denied their request for a temporary injunction. Karen nearly popped a blood vessel in the hallway. You're ruining everything. You came for my land, Karen, I told her. I'm just showing you where the line is. Second hearing, Lynn dropped another bomb. An IRS report confirming unreported income from lake donations. Then the twist, an ex-HOA treasurer testified under subpoena, admitted Karen had run the whole thing, shut down efforts to disclose the money, and quit rather than get caught in a cover-up. The air went out of the room. Karen's lawyer called a couple neighbors. They mumbled about, always assuming it was public, but nobody had proof. Nobody. The judge took her time, then ruled in my favor on every count, affirmed my ownership, tossed the HOA's claims, sanctioned them for a frivolous suit, and ordered $220,000 in damages. Plus, sent the case file to the DA for possible criminal charges. Karen just sat there blinking, like she couldn't believe it wasn't going her way. A week later, in the rain, I watched the city crew yank out every last community sign, the donation box, the trash cans gone. I put up my own sign, iron, hand-forged, black and bronze. Yes, I own the lake. Try me again. Then I walked the path to the dock, finally in peace. No one challenged it after that. Karen? She resigned, sold her house in a rush, skipped town. The HOA was frozen, forced into court-ordered transparency, most of the board bailing out. I got a letter from a magazine wanting to run a story. When the HOA came for the lake and the lake fought back. Sent them a photo, me coffee in hand, alone on the dock, quiet at last. And that's it. These days, I still see the occasional car slow at the top of the drive, but no one gets out. Some days I wave anyway, just in case. So, what do you think? Ever had to fight for what was yours when the whole world said you were wrong? Is it justice to stand your ground, or stubbornness? Drop your thoughts below. What would you have done? Right, wrong, somewhere in between. Let's talk. Because sometimes, holding the line is the only way to keep the world from rolling right over you.